Can you see that?
Yes. I've seen this picture. You sent
I
it to me
know.
this morning.
So what?
Can you explain to us what you see and what you... Can you open it up a bit? Can you go it, or go closer?
Yeah, let's see. Um, oops. How's that? So what we did was we put, so this is our H3 here. We put it submerged in salt water, and what we're doing is we're going backwards in the process where we're moving towards more of a replicator type of state where we're creating materials using our GANS bowls, if you will. In this bowl, we put potassium salt, and the first time we made this, we put magnesium salt or sea salt. And we put, on this side, we put a carbon rod, and on the other side, we put a zinc plate. And what we got, without deteriorating the carbon rod, is we got this quite a huge amount of carbon crystalline structures. And you see all these little white dots, those actually sparkle if the light was on them. And if you look down, this had a layer of amino acids on the top, but if you push the amino acids away and look at it, it's like you have this little glittering mine of diamond structures. So it's my thinking that these are in a carbon in a plasmatic state in a diamond structure, where it has the nanocrystalline structure of the diamonds, which I think, this is my thinking now, can be used as an addition to other materials like our CH3 here or our H3 here, for example, or CO2 to make it more powerful, for example. So there's the diamond crystalline structure versus, let's say, for example, we were doing a similar thing with silica, and we're making silica crystals. It would have a different structure, but still have its place for, I'll say, amplifying the GANS materials that we're using and the capabilities of them. So that's my thinking.
Doesn't mean you're wrong, does it?
And I think also that when we have this diamond crystalline structure, which we saw last week with the pictures that you shared, where we saw the sparkles in the H3, that these crystals are what allow us to connect our emotions to the materials. Just like a big crystal, we see a lot of times we use big crystals for our thoughts and our energies, but these little crystals can do the similar things. And allows us to attach, if you will, to the materials and the energies that we wish to create. That's what I. Now the other thing
Okay.
that
you started the door. I'm gonna connect you to that door, to something very important. As I always said, you walk and I show you the way. You just mentioned something very important, and I put it in the background, the knowledge and the science that you understand fully. If you go back to the structure of amino acid, where we talk about carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, where oxygen is the gravitational field holding whole thing together, where hydrogen is the energy supplier, nitrogen is the bringer of the whole structure to be able to transfer, and carbon is the link of the connections between all the elements. So if you go back in understanding this, and understanding that if you have, as you said, the amino acid or amino acid of the physicality of the man added to this process, then existence and the presence of the carbon crystals is part of the communication line between the captain and between the man who controls and the energy production. The existence of these crystals initially and from the beginning was set out for this effect. And now you understand. And you're correct in your assumption that if you understand the use of the carbon crystals in a plasmatic condition, and understanding all our teachings from the beginning, we always spoke about the carbon to be the communicator, the connection, the current connection, electric connection between the cells. That's why in every process in medical, we always use a CO2, that you create that link. Our understanding that you created this carbon in the nanostructure gas boxes, which meant inevitably there is amino acid of this planet in it. This should have given you a clue, or at least indication to understand. Through this line, you can connect the operation of the thoughts and the soul of the man to the running of the system. Therefore, the existence and the presence of the carbon crystals as a plasma condition is the connection between the man, the operator, and the system. It's a remote control connection, and it's instantaneous. So those of you who move to what we call zero-time communication, you should understand a lot about this, what has been explained. This gives you a new dimension. This gives you a new understanding, and scientifically understand it, why and how. And now you understand why these crystals, carbon crystals, as we call it, but in the plasma condition, are reality, are your connection. If you understand how to use it, I'm sure many of you are going to develop and evolve this knowledge, is part of your zero-time communication. And it goes back and it's in line what we have taught you from the beginning, that the carbon is the line of communication, connection between energies and dimensions. But when you enter in a plasma condition, and you understand in the coming time as you evolve in the education of the universe, that is the line between the soul of the man and the operation of the system. So those of you who are looking for what I call through your soul to control, you have found, because don't forget, part of the soul of the man is created from the interaction of the carbon itself and amino acids. Dynamic amino acid has created what we call this free space, or what we call the soul of the man, energy center. So if you go back and understand this, and you put this system in a dynamic condition, many of you who go in the dimension of the travel and space development through what we call plasma technology, you find out how your thoughts will lead to the creation of motion. I explain this in a very hidden way in the development of the space technology in Iran. As we go back to some of the teaching, I explained that we could dictate which way the system flies. This is how we could understand, we could control it. Creation of the fields in the dynamic ball, which has no, but we knew which way we wanted to fly. So those of you who run a double system, you will find out by holding to the system which is the grounded, which is the stronger one. Through that, you control the second one in distance.